The New Zealand badge. It's a quintessential part of the Kiwi psyche. For generations, it's where we've created memories of golden summers, mucking about in the water with friends and family. And for designer and broadcaster Hamish Dodd, it's his dream to build a badge where he holidayed as a child in Kuratau, a sleepy village on the southern shores of Lake Taupo. It's a big gamble for him and partner Anita Headley as they want to design their badge from scratch, creating the perfect place for their family to escape to for generations to come. And they've decided it should be all built in just 100 days.
The journey of the house started a long, long time ago. I have holidayed at Kuratau since I was a small little person and always loved the place. I grew up on ideas of one day owning a property there myself and having the chance to perhaps build or renovate a batch down there to make it your own.
We wanted something that we could holiday in that was family orientated, something that wasn't going to blow the budget. And we went on holiday to Kuratau a couple of years ago, and then we stumbled across our section and fell in love with it. And then I guess it just progressed from there.
There were an array of sections and an array of prices, and I guess that's where it sort of kicked off for us. You come home, you sit down, you talk, and then more and more the idea takes hold. And eventually you get to that point where you go, right, we're going to do this. We're going to buy some land, and we're going to build on it. Once you've got the section, then of course comes, what are we going to build?
With 20 years' experience as a designer, Hamish has more than his fair share of ideas now that it's come to building something for himself. One of the places he's taking inspiration from is an icon of rural New Zealand.
So here we are on Mum's sort of lifestyle-y block. This is the kind of thing that sort of inspired me, you know. Obviously not this colour, Mum's into the red barn, which is fantastic. But just the simplicity of it, the shape of a farm building. It's a functional thing. Old farm buildings are the old ruins of New Zealand, you know. We're just not that old. So that's what we look at and think looks beautiful, you know. We see something that's covered in moss and, you know, it's, yeah, I don't know. I just love them.
But of course, it's not just a house for him. Both Anita and Hamish now have to combine their batch dreams into a design that will perfectly fit their holiday needs.
Because what we want to do now is keep the building very, very simple in its structure. A, for cost, B, for aesthetics, because it'll basically be standalone in the paddock. So what are your two big things for the house?
A nice big bath. That's one thing I really, really want.
Okay, what else?
A nice, like a big deck for sunbathing. Because I figure in the summer, I like being in the sun, so a nice big deck, and in the winter, a nice big bath to relax in. Right. So that's pretty important.
Okay, now, fireplaces. I mean, for us, the fireplace is sort of, well, I'd like to be the central thing in the house, so it becomes the divider of the two rooms as such, which is why it's important to have it double-sided. This is a gas fire, and my thought was that it would be in the middle of the house and maybe taper in as it gets to the ceiling and be clad in river stone or something like that.
Would that heat the whole house alone, or?
Oh, easily heat the whole house, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Look at that.
Now that Hamish can start sketching out his and Anita's vision, the big question that's hanging over their heads is cost. At this point, they have no idea whether this build is going to come in under their budget that they've now set at $450,000. So Hamish decides to get some advice from a friend who's seen this 1,000 times. Design Guide magazine publisher, Mark Graham.
You can go through the process of getting the house quoted by builders.
Sure.
All right, and that's not a bad thing, but you're going to end up with a lot of question marks because not all the building contractors are going to necessarily cost it the same way, and you're still going to be a little bit in the dark.
Yep.
The simple, most effective way of getting a good handle on what your costs are going to be is by using a quantity surveyor. They'll cost out how long it's likely to take to do each of the various stages. They'll drill down to the point of how many nails are you likely to use, and they'll cost those out.
So now, after commissioning a draftsman to create concept drawings from his sketches, Hamish takes Mark's advice and engages a quantity surveyor in order to get the initial cost for the build. But after sending the drawings through, it's not good news for his $450,000 budget.
Look, we've taken your concept plans, and Jim, my colleague, and I have been through the plans, and we sent you through the estimate of cost, and judging by your reaction over the telephone, there's some things to go through. The budget's sitting at $518,000.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably best that we have a chat about some things that we've been thinking about, and some things that we would encourage you to consider. Part of our role as a quantity surveyor is really to set that construction budget and make sure that your expectations are aligned with that budget. There is an opportunity for the designer to go back and just pinch this in. And look, by simply doing that, you will be saving on a cost per square metre basis.
It looks like the only way to bring the current build cost of nearly $520,000 back to Hamish's budget is to reduce the size of the building. This would achieve the $70,000 savings he needs, but reducing the size means the design, as it currently stands, won't fit. So now it's the job of Hamish's new architectural designer, Kim Bowman, to make the downsize work.
Right. So what I've done so far to date is I came up with an idea and I'd scribbled it down on paper, which is what I wanted. I then took it to a quantity surveyor to get an indication roughly about where where it's roughly going to cost. And they said they could do it off the basic measurements to give me an indication. And it's very, very pretty.
Yes.
But I can't afford it, so I need to create something realistic.
Looking at what you've got here and looking at the elevations, it looks very much almost lodge-like.
Yeah, which is the feel.
The fireplace in the middle, the bedrooms on the outside with the central core through here.
Yeah.
In a lodge type, it's a combination of glamping and lodge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good call.
So my thoughts are that perhaps we pull it right in and combine the kitchen with the dining area is a really informal way of having your
like
kitchen. Farmhouse kitchen.
Cutting down the size is a tricky process, and it comes with some compromises to the design. However, Kim knows that Hamish is doing this the right way.
It's really important that clients get the process correct. You don't want to go forward and get all your working drawings done, get your project into council and find that the project is over budget. The best stage to stop is when Hamish stopped and said, hey, the project's too big, we need to pull some space out of it, we're making an informed decision.
This is a good compromise in
It is
between.
a good compromise.
Okay, that works. And that's what I'm here for. I mean, I need you to help me refine the situation back to something I can afford.
And after a few days of letting Kim work her magic, it's now time for the big reveal of the new batch design.
I love it. It's fantastic.
The only thing is, have some compromises gone too far?
There were two things on the top of her list. That was the bath and the deck.
Hamish Dodd and Anita Headley are on a mission to build their dream holiday home on the shores of Lake Taupo. They want to complete the build in just 100 days, but still in the design process and encountering tricky revisions to bring their wishes into budget, day one still looks a while off. Today though, it's one big step closer. Hamish is finally getting to see what his dream batch will look like.
I love it. It's fantastic. I had no idea this is what it would be like. The ability to look in through the windows into the house.
Yeah, it really helps you visualise the project.
Inspired by Hamish's love of rural barn-like architecture and design, the house will be clad in dark-stained timber and constructed on an earthquake-proof concrete pad looking out towards the lake. The batch is designed with family at the heart of the home, with a central double-sided fireplace with kitchen and living either side and bedrooms either end. A large deck will lead from big sliding doors. It's almost everything Hamish and Anita want from their holiday home. But there's still one small bath-sized problem.
I really like where we've got to with it. You managed to shrink it and make it still look like what it was meant to look like.
Yeah.
Catch is bathroom. Okay, so I had been talking to Anita about this. There were two things on the top of her list. That was the bath and the deck.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
When we've had to shrink things in a bit, I personally feel that the gap between like the door and the vanity and the bathtub...
It's tight.
It is, isn't it? All right, so let's get that out.
Let's move that.
One of the core elements of the build that hasn't been lost in coming up with the new design is something that Hamish feels strongly about when it comes to the home's longevity.
The budget is the budget, and the budget was set to build something small but complete and finished. So rather than cut back on things like solar power and bits and pieces and wind turbines, we cut back on floor area. The concept behind the solar and the wind is to create something that is slightly more sustainable. It's a dream I've always had. It's got many benefits to it. It'll almost make the power cost neutral. That's a big saving, and why not?
With the design for the 100-day batch almost locked off, architectural designer Kim has one more game changer to help the budget in the form of a building material called Triboard. Now this is essentially a machined panel made in Kuratau from which the holes for the windows and doors are pre-cut in the factory in Auckland, and the house arrives on site, flat-packed and ready to assemble in just one day.
It stems from my idea that I didn't want to have a plasterboard lined house. I was going to line it with MDF and batten it, and while I was sitting with Kim, Kim said, well, hang on a second, why don't you try out Triboard? And she gave me a sample, it looked pretty cool. That's all I've seen so far is my little block kind of thing that was in her office, which I've managed to leave behind. So now I've come to the factory so I can get a better deal about what's happening.
Steve Blake is Hamish's projects manager for the build, and since he's worked with Triboard before, he's come along to help explain to Hamish how it works.
The mill is in Kuratau, all made out of New Zealand forests, made here sustainably. There's a sample of the raw product as it comes in. It's got a strand board core with an MDF exterior layer.
How much does it speed it up? Like the whole process of doing my framing in this fashion?
We're looking at about a 3-week saving in overall time.
Overall time, so that would include things like the stopping and the plastering and bits and pieces?
Correct.
Ah, that's a big saving.
It is.
It's
huge.
huge.
Makes a difference.
So, layman's terms, I suppose, sheet goes down, you cut out the bits you don't need, it becomes like a giant jigsaw puzzle, you load it on a truck and send it to me.
That's exactly right.
Fantastic.
With all the work Hamish and his team have put into planning, he now has enough information to get a mortgage approved for the build. But they're not out of the woods yet. As Kim points out, Hamish has put off one key step in the process.
In a lot of cases, it's an emotional buy. People will love the view, they'll go out on the site, they'll think it's just the most amazing site, bang, she's bought, and then they do the investigation after the fact. I would advise clients to get a geotech report done if they're looking to do a new build, and get a designer out to have a look at the site just to make sure that what they think can happen.
With a site inspection and geotech report the only thing left before lodging council consent, it's time for Hamish to go back to his section. It's January now, and Hamish hasn't been back to Kuratau since before he bought the land in September of last year.
Today I've come to see the land we've bought, and I'm also going to meet my building project manager, and we're going to get to stake out the land. I'll be honest, it hasn't actually changed much in all the years I've been coming here. It still looks the same. There's a few more houses gone into the subdivision, which seem to take forever to fill up. You can still see the point. That's where I grew up swimming. And at the far end of the lake, you can just see a little sparkle down there. That's taupo. It's nice, actually. It is as I've always remembered it. And this is the beautiful spot that Anita and I have bought, and we've committed to build on. Did we buy the right piece of land? We did look at a few other spots around Kuratau, and yeah, after much negotiation, this is where we settled.
Following her earlier advice, Hamish has brought Kim and draftsperson Catherine along to make sure the design works on site. A geotech report was done last week, and project manager Steve has come to complete the process.
Once we get our floor height, you'll have a really good idea on exactly what view you're going to get. The main reason behind this is to get the location of the house right before we submit our final plans for council consent, and make sure the client's happy. We get rid of any other obstructions that we need to before construction, and make sure the house is located where it should be.
The house is in an earthquake zone, so it'll be constructed on a concrete slab specifically designed for these conditions.
Even having a geotech report, you don't always know exactly what you're going to get until you start digging your site. We had one recently where we pulled up a number of boulders, the biggest one being a couple of tonnes. So even having the geotech report, they've got to be quite thorough. even then you're still not 100% sure what you could find under the ground until you've dug it.
Now that Hamish has pegged out the site, he's realised that the house placement isn't actually quite where he wanted. If he wants to make last-minute changes, he's going to need to confer with Kim and Catherine.
Okay, so obviously I've been out pegging out with William and Steve in the fly storm, we'll call it. Now what we've done is, which you'll probably totally agree now we're on site. I know I did this originally, but we're going to shift it across, aren't we? And
that's fine.
The deck doesn't have to be in the building platform, so the whole structure can come across to there. Deck hangs out. Now, this is a bit of work, Catherine, so you have to do it. Is this a major that I'm shifting it?
In this case, because we have such a big site, it's not such a big deal.
Sure.
We'd just be moving the house on the site plan. But if you had a smaller site, you'd have to be worried about setbacks from the boundary.
Right, okay.
And making sure that your house still complies with all the restrictions of the site.
Sure, of course, with height to boundary issues and all the other stuff that can pop up. Okay, cool.
But the placement isn't his only concern about the house.
So, shall we go and have a walk through? Because I tell you what, it looks really small to me now we've pegged it out.
Hamish is in Kuratau, on the southern shores of Lake Taupo, doing a last-minute site inspection for a batch that he and partner Anita want to build in just 100 days. He's pegged out the placement of the site, and now he's reviewing the results of downsizing his original design. And with that comes putting the contentious issue of Anita's bath to rest.
I took the bath out of the bathroom, so now you have a bigger shower and also a towel rail.
Yeah, that's good, because obviously when we started to constrict the house in, it got pretty tight, didn't it, to keep the bath? You don't understand quite how in trouble I got for taking the bath out. Yeah, that was like primary on the list, and I axed it. But I think overall, I think it's what we need, isn't it?
It certainly gives it more room in the bathroom. It won't be as cramped now as it was before.
I'm so naughty.
With the bathroom issue resolved, Hamish throws in another possible revision for his plans.
One thing I was thinking about doing was changing this from a timber deck through to concrete, and because I kind of like the idea of the concrete running right the way through. Can I do that?
You can, but you need to make sure that the slab of the deck is poured completely separately to the house. And so what you'll do is have a metal grate between the deck and the house to keep them separate, but still allow drainage.
No, I don't need to decide this right now, do I?
No, you don't.
Okay, let's leave it at that. Let's get out of here and away from these flies.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have seen the house
Lovely.
pegged out. It's really cool, actually.
I think this has been a worthwhile exercise.
This has been a very worthwhile exercise. Well, you know, planning, you know, it's going to give us the ultimate goal. I've moved the house, so naturally I'm thinking, is this going to cost me a lot more money? If you keep making changes, you've got to pay. I've been told this isn't too much of a major, so we should be okay. But the primary thing is it's given me a full understanding of how the house is going to look on the site, and it reinforces how important it is to actually have everyone there to work as a team to achieve the goal. You know, the guys and Kim and Catherine, they asked me about what I wanted throughout the process, and I think we've ended up with the goal. I look forward to going home tonight and reporting into Anita exactly what I've achieved today. I did get a sweet text saying, I hope you've taken lots of photos. Sadly, I've taken 2. So I'm probably in the crapper there, but I'll show her on the plans where I've gone.
It takes 2 months after lodging the consent application with Taupo Council before Hamish hears back. And it's good news. Consent has been granted. The build can now start. To give time to properly prepare materials and organise tradies, it's looking like it'll be a winter project. They've set the start date for May. The day before the build, Hamish and Anita bring their friend and mentor Mark Graham to show him what they're planning on doing. But him and Anita have discovered there's still one more issue with the house placement.
I always thought it was facing this way more, not like...
So if I could put my 2 cents worth in, your pegs basically aim straight at this mountain.
Yeah.
So have you checked where the pegs are situated? Have they been put into the right place?
They were loosely banged in, but the surveyor has said that we can creep things, apparently, so I don't know.
Because it's pretty important to get the pegs right, because if you
Is it
don't...
the pegs, or is it the... Yeah, I just really think it should be this way more.
We want the centre of the house to be looking out towards, I know it sounds funny, but it's almost that house that's over there, isn't it?
Pretty much.
That's it. And if the centre of the house lines up through there with that house, we're home and hosed.
So are we going to double check the layout of this though?
Yes,
Because
it'll get checked.
I do think it was a wee bit...
It'll get checked, I promise.
You'll do that before the digger arrives, though.
Darn tooting I'm going to.
With consent issued and the build starting tomorrow, it all seems a little too late in the play to still be unsure about the location. Is creeping the house really enough? And so far, Hamish and Anita have fought tooth and nail to keep the project within their strict budget. But Mark has a harsh reality check for them.
I can tell you, without exception, a build will take, 25%, if not longer, to complete than you expect, and it will cost 20 or 25% more than you expect, because you'll go through it and you will find things that you want to do. Hey, look, that tap's just an extra $100, $200.
Does it ever come in less though?
Yes, but you have to be exceptionally disciplined.
Okay.
Prepare yourselves, because this is going to be a really intense journey.
It's day one of the 100-day build, and the digger is arriving on site. Project manager Steve has assured Hamish the house is facing the right direction towards the lake. Let's hope everything goes to plan.
We've ended up with a little bit more space on the front, so we've managed to turn the house that extra, I think it's about 1.2 metres, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
It screws round, so that'll give us our presentation down the lake. Ideal. It's one of those things, you've got the process of it's coming along, and we're building a house. 8 months have had the land, and before that we were thinking for another 8 months about what we're going to do, sorting out all the finances and all the bits and pieces and coming up with the concepts, and we've gone through the drawings, and then next thing you know, here we are, we're digging. And all of a sudden it kind of almost got a bit, well, we're starting.
The New Zealand badge. It's a part of our national heritage. It's as if there's something in our DNA that compels us to create our own special place where memories are made, lazy summer days and family fun. For designer and broadcaster Hamish Dodd, it's no different. Here's his dad swinging a hammer, building the old family badge back in the 70s near Lake Taupo. Now, Hamish is returning to the lake. He and partner Anita Headley plan to create their own dream, a badge built from scratch. And to top it all, they've decided it needs to be built in just 100 days. They've chosen Hamish's childhood stomping ground of Kuratau, in the heart of the southern Waikato. The plateau is all rolling hills and bush, with hints of thermal activity. It's a beautiful landscape, but what makes it special for Hamish are the memories.
I have holidayed at Kuratau since I was a small little person. We just loved it. It was sunny, there was kayaking to do, you can be on the lake, which is refreshing. There's lots of activity, etc., etc. I grew up on ideas of one day owning a property there myself and having the chance to perhaps build or renovate a batch down there to make it your own. I guess with what I do, that was always going to be the thing. I was never going to walk into ready-made.
It's been more than 9 months since Hamish and Anita bought a plot of land in Kuratau, and between now and then, it's been an involved process to get where they are.
There is an opportunity for the designer to go back and just pinch this in.
Hamish's original design spiralled more than $70,000 over their $450,000 budget. So the first challenge was making some compromises and reducing the size of the house.
Okay, that works. And that's what I'm here for. I mean, I need you to help me refine the situation back to something I can afford.
To save even more money by speeding the construction process up, Hamish opted to use Triboard for the build.
So, layman's terms, I suppose, sheet goes down, you cut out the bits you don't need, it becomes like a giant jigsaw puzzle. You load it on a truck and send it to me.
That's exactly right.
Fantastic.
But Hamish was never going to skimp on everything. An integral feature of the batch is going to be its energy efficiency.
The concept behind the solar and the wind is to create something that is slightly more sustainable. It's a dream I've always had. It's got many benefits to it. It'll almost make the power cost neutral. That's a big saving, and why not?
So 5 months after nailing down the must-haves and making decisions on materials, Hamish and Anita arrive at a working design for their Kuratau holiday home. Their dream batch is a contemporary take on the traditional New Zealand farm building. It'll have a single roofline and dark-stained timber cladding with large windows. There'll be 3 bedrooms and an open-plan living room, kitchen, lounge divided by a centrepiece brick chimney that heats the house with a 2-way gas fireplace. A large deck will lead from big double-glazed sliding doors.
I love it. It's fantastic.
Originally, the batch was set to be built in the summer of 2015. But it took until mid-May before the intended 100-day project could start. After digging and boxing out the site, a week of rain delayed the concrete slab from being poured. It's been a month since then, and the concrete has had time to properly cure. The custom-built Triboard panels are now on site, and it's time for the first walls to go up.
I'm blown away. It's awesome.
The concrete slab on its own can appear misleading, especially on a 2-acre section. Without walls or furniture to give a size reference, it can look like the house won't be big enough.
So I walked around it yesterday. It felt very small. And I was like, where's the rest of this house?
Yeah.
But no, it'd be good to see the walls out.
The Triboard panels are fixed to the concrete by long metal tracks. These also act as guides to align the boards correctly.
Yeah, so what the guys are doing here is putting down the aluminium angle bracket, which holds a triboard to the concrete floor, and that gets shot down with a ramset gun, and then our triboard sits in there and is fixed. Yeah, so it's important we get these set up in the right place. That's a channel that your triboard runs in and sets your whole foundation for your board up.
But they've encountered an issue with the tracks. The ramset guns that the builders use to attach them to the concrete don't have enough power.
Nah, it wants to, but I don't think there's enough charge on it.
This adds problems to an already tricky process, as none of the builders on site have worked with Triboard before.
Yeah, so you don't need it on the corners, you can just stop there short.
Luckily, overseeing this part of the construction is Triboard expert Jim Matchett. He comes up with a solution to drill, then hammer the pins into the concrete. Experience tells him they'll be strong enough to hold the tracks in place.
Right on. Okay, you ready?
With the workaround complete, the walls can finally start to go up.
Come down.
Wall number 1 is up, and Jim is happy. The Triboard is proving its worth.
Once we got one corner up, we're away.
The biggest drawback is the weight and size, but it just goes together so quickly. It just connects together and that's finished. 2 coats of paint is all that's required to finish off.
It's unbelievable because now you can see the shape, you know, because like as we were talking about, it felt small, and now there's the bathroom window. Those are the finished interior walls. You know what I mean? So it's more than just the frame going up. It's the interior walls are finished, and now they just need to be prepped and painted. You know, it's phenomenal.
So pretty much our bedroom and bathroom the walls will be up in like an hour.
Having these as the final finished walls is a huge time saver compared to a traditional build. Hamish is excited he'll be able to test his resine colour scheme designs earlier than usual in the process.
It's very exciting. It's phenomenal.
It's coming together fast now, but there's also an element of urgency for the team. If the overcast sky turns to rain, it could be bad news for the Triboard. Even though it has a protective coat of paint, it's a fibrous material and doesn't like being wet.
We do try to get the roof on as soon as possible, It's sealed, it gets a good seal done in the workshop before it comes out onto site. But if the board gets wet, it can damage.
Rain has already caused considerable delays to the build. As it's now winter, that's likely to just get worse, putting the planned build time of 100 days to the test. It's a rainy day in Kuratau on the southern shores of Lake Taupo, and it's just what Hamish and Anita don't need. Today's the day they're finally getting to see their batch design come to life, but the wet has brought a drop in momentum and mood.
So the rain's setting in, which is not ideal. We had hoped for a fine week. When you're standing triboard frames, it's better, obviously. Yeah, but what can you do? It's winter. We're probably lucky to have what we've got. Rain.
It's not just the triboard that's at risk. Hamish has to worry about his recently cured concrete slab too.
Okay, I guess one of the biggest concerns, of course, is the concrete floor. It's the finished product, it stays as it is, and it's going to be sealed. Had hoped to have sealed it by now. Haven't had the opportunity to, number of reasons. Concrete needs 30 days to cure. You can't have any rain. You actually say you've got to scrub it or perhaps water blast it. That's not really happening on a site that doesn't have water running on it yet. So, yeah, I mean, obviously it's a work site, people have got to walk on it. It's got to be, you know, used, and, you know, there's lots of things that can go wrong with it. Hopefully it holds up. Otherwise I'll be in trouble because I'll have polished floors with boot marks all over it. Well, it's been raining, we've had more showers. It's a case of working in between the fine spells, although these guys have just been troopers and charging through. As you can see, there's a lot up, but there's a lot to go. It's coming up on 2 o'clock, and so we've got another 3.5, 4 hours worth of light left. It handles showers fine, obviously. What you just don't want is out for weeks on end in torrential rain. So I guess the rain's more of an inconvenience for the guys at the moment, but yeah. Oof.
With nothing he can do on a rain-soaked building site, Hamish decides to take a brief excursion. 25 minutes around the bays and the weather is a lot better. And it's this spot, right on the lake, that could have been the place of the 100-day batch.
Once we had set our sights on building down in this area, naturally you start looking around at other sections, and this section made the shortlist. Effectively, it's a quarter the size of what we've ended up purchasing, but it's completely different in its own regard. You know, the boundaries sort of run through here, leaving this area out here would be sort of borrowed landscape in a borrowed area. Price, about 3 times what the other section was. Really, there's no shop here, and at the end of the day, the desire to have it and the cost of the site really didn't stack up for us. We thought we could do more with our money round at the other property. It's a great spot, but I don't know.
Back on site, the build has come a long way since this morning, and the progress has piqued the interest of Hamish's next-door neighbour-to-be, Will.
Yeah. What's really nice is actually having someone like you round the area. You know what I mean? Because obviously we don't get to be here full time, not like Will. So it'll be good to have someone, you know, who's the local eyes and ears and bits and pieces. Yeah.
No, I've been coming up here since I was 8, out in the country, off the grid. You've got to go sort of into an urban environment every now and again, but I mean, you're doing the opposite thing, aren't you?
Yeah, escaping the urban environment to come here for that. But I do know what you mean. It's you do need interaction with people.
Yeah, even though I've got my own coffee machine, it just doesn't cut it without people.
No, it's exactly right. It's exactly right.
With Will sharing his enthusiasm for Kuratau, this morning's woes are soon forgotten. And right on cue, the sun has come out. With wet worries out of the way, Hamish can put his mind to something he's actually excited about: energy efficiency. Friend and double glazing expert Bruce has arrived to see the progress of the build and talk windows.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're underway. Frame's going up. Should we go and have a look?
The clouds may have cleared, but even with the sun out, it's still really cold in Kuratau. Hamish is quickly realising just how much he wants to make his batch comfortable for future winter holidays. With the exterior Triboard walls of the house fully insulated, the windows will be the least resistant to the cold, as Bruce well knows.
What are your thoughts living in the area anyway?
Yeah, well, let's step back. We've got the sun coming in, right? So we're going to get nice warmth through these windows.
Yep.
But we're going to get nothing through all this. In fact, what we've done is we've built, or you're about to build, a massive window for the view. And no other reason.
Correct.
And so it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
Our windows are our weakest link in our building. So everything we can do to improve the insulation level that we get from those is going to make a difference to how the family feels here in winter. So we'll choose glass to help do that.
That's exactly right. Well, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? The correct glass. You've told me this before, Bruce.
Yeah, we've talked about it on the radio.
We have. We've talked about it plenty of times.
And we can make a massive difference. So we'll sit down and we'll have a look at the glass that's been specced on those windows.
Yeah. No, good idea.
And see what we can do.
Okay.
The day is coming to an end and the house has made strides in taking shape. Hamish is heading back to Auckland with a lot on his mind. What steps should he take to make his home warm, comfortable and energy efficient without costing the earth? Next stop, solar power. The 100-day batch is now on its 33rd day and Hamish and Anita's little spot in Kuratau is being transformed. Scaffolding is up so the team can get the Triboard ceilings on, completing the last major step, forming the rooms. Progress is steady, but Hamish is back in Auckland for the day. Following yesterday's bad weather and a bit of a wake-up call about double glazing from friend Bruce, Hamish has energy efficiency on the mind. So, he's booked in to see solar expert Liberio about outfitting his batch with some energy-saving technology.
So when it comes to like picking the system, I mean, obviously I know wind and solar. How do you go actually choosing what system to run for, you know, like my house?
Okay, we look at your environment and your surroundings. Okay, so if you've got a decent breeze coming through and you've got sun as well, we do a hybrid system. So it all depends on your environment and where you're situated. It's perfect for a hybrid system.
Now, if I want to like future-proof my system, for example, say I decide to add a barn on, do I need to like future-proof for that now and overpower the system, or do you just add to it later?
Absolutely don't overpower the system. What you can do is just add to it, and that's the benefits with the microinverters.
What's a microinverter?
Microinverter is a simple inverter that converts DC power to AC power, and it's for that one panel alone. So every panel gets its own microinverter.
So it's like they're in series, you sort of just add them on?
Absolutely.
Right, yes, school science paid off right there, didn't it?
Did indeed.
With regards to the power, it comes from the wind turbine, from the solar panels, through the microinverters. And where does it go then? Do we store it?
We're going for a grid-connected system. So the power goes directly into your switchboard. And what you actually use in your house gets used straight away. If you actually generate now more power than what you're using, it goes back to the grid. So you can actually get a credit for that.
Right.
And in your situation where it's a holiday home, so you're not there during the week or for a few weeks, all that power you're generating 24/7 can offset your home account.
Right, well that's awesome.
The benefits of solar power sound promising, and Hamish wants to see it in action for himself.
Okay, so this is your mock-up.
Absolutely. So what we've got here is your wind turbine.
Yep.
Okay, and obviously your solar panel. So this is your true hybrid situation.
Yep.
Exactly what we've got to put at your house.
So we've basically got like next to no wind really at the moment. This thing's still turning around.
Our generation units here start at 1.5 to 2 metres per second.
Yep.
So hardly anything is what we've got here today. They can go right up to 160 kilometre winds. So you're looking at hurricane winds before self-preservation mode comes in, which is a braking mechanism.
Very cool. I love it. Now, since we're standing next to your test rig,
yep.
How many, just regular light bulbs that you get from the supermarket,
incandescent ones?
Incandescent light bulb.
Yep.
How many could this basically run?
You're probably looking at about 600 or 700 watt lamps to run all the time. So half your house.
Basically half your house of light bulbs. And in my case, I'm going to be running LEDs, more energy efficient. How about then?
So you can actually run your whole house of LEDs with the system we've got on the trailer here.
Just this one solar panel and this one wind turbine?
Absolutely. That's how efficient the LED lights you've got.
So it really is a combination of many things coming together to create total efficiency.
Total energy efficiency.
Yeah.
Still in Auckland for the day, Hamish takes the chance to take a look at another feature he's considering that utilises the sun in a different way.
Well, one of the most important things for me when it came to the property was to have an outdoor eating room. This is something I've been putting in my clients' places lately, and it's a destination point. Rather than having it attached to the house, I sort of wanted to be able to move away, perhaps a place with a nice view. Being New Zealand, of course, we probably want a little bit of shelter, so that's why I'm here at Luvatech.
Hamish.
Hi.
Hey, how are you? I'm Ben.
Hi, nice to meet you, Ben. Right, what I sort of pictured was I want an outdoor eating room, and I want it very simple. So I really do like your aluminium posts and that sort of thing. I want it as a standalone product out in the field. Can you just talk me through the different systems you've got? Because there's obviously a few different types.
Yeah, we've got quite a few different systems, so I can take you through and yeah, we can have a look at the different types. Cool. Let's take a look.
Great. This is perfect. So this doesn't require a permit world.
Yes, that's
okay, because this is easy. I can still have a dining room, sort of outdoor table out here.
Yep.
It's a multi-use space that I can escape the children and escape the sun.
That's the one, yep.
Now, one thing, can I do the frame one colour and have the blades a different colour?
Yeah, you can. So that's typically the best way to go.
That's the cool way to do it at the moment?
Yeah.
Cool, so you and I can pick some colours then.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, that's the exciting part, is picking the colours. I love the colour choice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I love it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
From windows to louvers, solo to wind power, Hamish is ticking off and clarifying a lot of things that have been in his head ever since starting this dream project. But nothing beats the progress that's been made on site. And the next morning, he makes the trip back down with Anita and 7-year-old son Hunter to see how the batch is coming along.
Oh, cool. Look at that view.
Yeah, look at the size of that window.
Hunter,
look at the view.
Wow.
It's all glass. So it's very easy to think that, you're standing getting this small box, but you don't. There's that much glass that you basically get the whole thing.
But when you're actually in a whole big house, you can understand how, how the view works better. So I think once the slab went down, from then on, yeah, it was perfect, really.
It looks like I thought it was going to look. And I hope, which is nice.
Things are feeling positive. Just to make sure it's actually smooth sailing, Hamish is checking in with project manager Steve as costs are beginning to mount up.
Okay, cool. I've got your invoices, and that's cool. So it's about 80 grand. But I mean, you sit there and you go, it's a lot of money. It's not in the grand scheme of building. Really, it's not. We've got kitchens paid for. The fireplace is paid for. It's a major component of the fireplace.
Yes,
it's like 10 grand of there. The colour fonts are all paid for. That's going to cover the slab, the driveway, and obviously the frame will be paid for then.
Yep.
And the deposit on the joinery comes in.
That's right.
And that's important, isn't it, now to get that through quick?
Yeah.
Lead time.
That's right, and that holds production up if we don't get that paid. So.
Yep. I'll get onto that tonight.
Excellent.
I'll talk to the bank man. I like sending my little emails to the bank, and then it takes like a day or so, and then the money appears in the account, and you get all excited, and you have a little fantasy dream about what one could do with said money. Run to Brazil for a month.
keep the job going.
Yeah, keep the job going. Okay, we're on track. Money's at hand. And it's one of those funny things, isn't it? You have this allotment of money for building the house, and it's sitting there in the bank, and then you start spending it, and then I was like, oh, I'm spending the money. And
it doesn't feel like real money until it starts going out, does it?
It doesn't. And it's funny how you look at it like it's big money, but when you're spending it on something that's such a great project like a house, and what you're getting to create with that money, it's so satisfying. So satisfying.
It's day 34 of the 100-day batch, and only 2 days ago, the site was nothing but a concrete slab. Now the walls are up, the rooms are defined, and the batch is suddenly starting to look like it could be a home.
I think things are coming along really, really well. I mean, more's happened probably in the last few days than it's happened in the last month. And there's like an army of people out there working on it. So my understanding is that they're going to finish the scaffolding today, and then the house is going to be wrapped. Well, the scaffold is going to have the white wrap to sort of, you know, weather tight it while they work on it. And yeah, so I think it'll be a big change. And by Monday, when everyone fires back up again, we'll be having the big push for the roof. That's the plan.
Hey, I'm going up straight to the top, walking out with my head up high. Hey, moving on to a brand new place, and now it's here in the blink of an eye. Hey, you can't stop me now, I'm moving fast, going everywhere I wanted to be. Hey, and now I'm here today with Made for Me. Yeah, I was born to be free.
The New Zealand Batch. It's a part of our national heritage. It's as if there's something in our DNA that compels us to create our own special place where memories are made, lazy summer days and family fun. For designer and broadcaster Hamish Dodd, it's no different. Here's his dad swinging a hammer, building the old family batch back in the 70s near Lake Taupo. Now Hamish is returning to the lake. He and partner Anita Headley plan to create their own dream, a batch built from scratch. And to top it all, they've decided it needs to be built in just 100 days. They've chosen Hamish's childhood stomping ground of Kuratau in the heart of the southern Waikato. The plateau is all rolling hills and bush with hints of thermal activity. It's a beautiful landscape, but what makes it special for Hamish are the memories.
I have holidayed at Kuratau since I was a small little person. We just loved it. It was sunny, there was kayaking to do, you can be on the lake, which is refreshing. There's lots of activity, etc., etc. I grew up on ideas of one day owning a property there myself and having the chance to perhaps build or renovate a batch down there to make it your own. I guess with what I do, that was always going to be the thing. I was never going to walk into ready-made.
It's now coming up on 5 weeks into the 100-day build, and a lot has happened so far. After digging and shaping the land, a box was made for the large concrete slab that makes up the foundation of the batch. But as expected for a winter build, rain held up the concrete pour, putting things behind by a week. After almost a month of letting the concrete cure, the actual construction could get underway, with another race against the weather to get the Triboard frames up for the house. It took just 2 days for the bare concrete slab to be transformed into the three-dimensional house, complete with rooms that we have today. It's a sunny day 37 of the build, and Hamish is feeling optimistic about progress.
Well, we're 5 weeks in, and it's one of those things, you know, slabs need to cure, weather, building in winter, it's cold, building out of town. Surprising thing is, really, I think we're still running on schedule, so it's a case of sort of speeding things up. You know, the slowest work was always going to be in the ground, and now the house is getting scaffolded, and then trusses go in, then they put a frame over the top of it and they wrap that, so it's going to be like a tent effectively, which means the weather is no longer going to be an issue. My understanding is we're actually still on schedule, even though we've had a few delays, but other than that, I'm pretty happy. Who couldn't be? Look at this place.
Today's job is to get the scissor trusses up. These are a unique solution to making the batch roof slant work and an alternative to traditional rafters.
So these are the scissor trusses. Now, what it means is that this is the top piece, this is where the roof goes, this is where the ceiling is. So by having this sort of wedged sort of shape, we get a pitch inside while still having a truss. Having this space in here has worked out well for us too, because of the central fire and it all being ducted into the bedrooms. It now gives us somewhere, to be fair, to run space and services and things like that, which is one of the things that would have been a lot harder with rafters, is how you get things through and in and hidden away, particularly things like ducting from the fire. You can see the difference, because these are scissor trusses and they're sitting on top of the regular trusses, and so this is the difference that runs through this section here.
Coming to the decision of using scissor trusses was an important part of making Hamish and Anita's design work. A contemporary take on the traditional New Zealand farm building, their batch will have a single roof line and dark-stained timber cladding with large windows. It'll have 3 bedrooms, and the open-plan living room, kitchen and lounge will be divided by a centrepiece brick chimney that heats the house with a 2-way gas heater. And a large deck will lead from big sliding doors.
You too, Vicky. Bye. Oh, that's good. That means that Steve will be happy and we're happy. So that's just the bank saying that the next round of payments have been processed, and that means I'll be able to pay the deposits on the joinery and pay for all the bills up to date. Nice.
Hamish leaves the builders for a couple of days so they can get to work uninterrupted. 2 days later, it's the 39th day of the build, and things have progressed hugely. The protective wrap is on, most of the scissor trusses are up, and the batch is sitting pretty.
Looking at the house now, it's, well, I guess it's real. Well, kind of. It's funny. Anita said to me, you know, it doesn't feel like it's ours, you know, because it's one of those things we've talked about it for years. This is like coming up on 2 years from the idea of being down here going, hey, we should do something, through to the, hey, let's buy some land, and then, hey, let's get something drawn up that we want, you know. I mean, it's a long process, really. And time rolls by. And now it's going up. Yeah, it's kind of surreal. It looked good on paper. And I'm a firm believer that if it looks good in the drawings and it feels right there, then it's going to feel right when it goes up. And it is. There were moments of nervousness. Had we made it too small? No, we haven't. It is what it is. Our decisions were right. Yeah, it's perfect for what it is going to be.
A large net has been put underneath the trusses for safety because the builders need to be up top preparing for the roof install, which is scheduled for tomorrow. The big job for today is getting the centrepiece of the home in, Hamish's big concrete block fireplace. And the block layers have turned up bright and early.
Plan today, we're building a fireplace and chimney. I think there's going to be a gas fireplace in it. We're building it out of concrete blocks, which will be filled with concrete and steel. Hoping to get it done today.
However, they've already encountered an unexpected issue. Because Hamish doesn't have any services hooked up yet, there's no water on site, so they can't mix their concrete.
Should be power, should be water, but here we got generator, no water.
Bit hard to mix mud without it.
We just need enough for mixing up and washing gear. Not too much, but we do need it.
They are going to need to think outside the box.
Everyone's taps are probably frozen around here, so get a few buckets of water down the lake.
It looks like it's time to tap into the natural resources of the land. Great Lake Taupo to the rescue.
Oh, here we are to grab some water. I would normally go to a neighbour, but it's all batches down here, so no one's really home, and it's just as quick.
But as soon as one problem is resolved, another one immediately replaces it. The plans for the fireplace are missing some crucial measurements.
Always good to look at the plans before you start. Yeah, I'll give the boss a ring, see how far away he is.
With the concrete now mixing, they can get started on the base. But they'll need project manager Steve to confirm the size of the opening for the gas heater.
It's not in the fire stick?
The only problem is, when he turns up, he can't find the correct measurements either. It's a sunny Kuratau morning as day 39 of the 100-day batch gets underway. The main work on the house is going well, with the builders making good progress preparing for the roof installation tomorrow. However, the other big project for the day, the fireplace, has run into some hold-ups as crucial measurements for the gas heater opening are missing. Today and tomorrow are planned to be huge days with lots of tradies on site. So, project manager Steve is hoping they're found soon. At this point, Hamish doesn't even know about the issue yet. He's off-site, gone to a Taupo airfield to pick up solar expert Liberio, who's just flown in. He met Liberio last week to talk about solar and wind power, and the plan today is to look at the LED and solar panel setup with the electrician, who will also be on site to plan his wiring.
Hamish, how's it going, mate? Good. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for popping down, come and giving me a hand to have a look at this.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I think it's important we get it all sorted out, you know, positioning and, you know, now not having it on the roof where it should go, you know,
Absolutely.
outside.
Yeah, be a lot easier, and especially seeing it on site be a lot better than doing it on paper.
So then we can work out what kind of frame we want for it to sit on, I'm assuming.
Yep, absolutely.
I'll leave all that up to you and Steve.
Not a problem. We'll get on the road and head out.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, mate.
Back at the batch, Steve has found some measurements.
Framing dimensions at 800.
Framing dimensions 800.
Minimum.
But it's not quite adding up to what they planned for the look of the fireplace.
So essentially what we've got here is the engineers have designed the fireplace. However it's happened, they haven't got the right dimensions for what the fireplace we're putting in is. The opening's a little bit too small. We've gone back to the engineers to see whether or not we can increase that opening size, and being an engineered element, they need to make sure it still does its job. So hopefully we'll hear back on that shortly and it'll be good to go.
As they're playing the waiting game, Hamish arrives back and is quickly caught up about how the design for the opening might need to change slightly.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. So that's going to be 100mm narrower now, is it?
Yeah.
Should we have a little squiz?
So these will come down 100mm each.
Oh, yeah, no, that's okay. I don't think that will impact us, so whatever lets you guys do your job in the most convenient way is the way to go. It's not going to ruin the look of it.
It's looking like the possible changes won't be a deal breaker for Hamish.
Engineer said it looks good, he's just got to quickly double check the calculations.
As they wait on the final sign-off call for the engineers, Hamish gets the electrician and Liberio together to talk LED and the placement of Hamish's solar panel farm.
Okay, so from our point of view, for the cable from the power system and wind turbine going to the switchboard, the lesser distance the better. Not only we've got to think on that is the direction of north. So we're going to make sure that if we put it on one end of the house itself is not going to put shadows onto it as well.
So I mean, this is where I always sort of pictured the wind turbine being, was up on this sort of knoll here.
Yep.
You know, so you know, like when you come in the driveway and you pull in, here it is, sort of spinning away.
Bit of a focal point there.
Yeah. So how are we looking for our cable? Can we do this?
It'll be more than 20 metres.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely more than 20 metres.
It's probably more like 30, isn't it?
Yeah,
plus.
This is almost the same amount of distance though as if we put it round in the corner on the far side, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a matter that we have to run the cables through the building, but that's not really a big issue, is it? It's
not really, because the thing is, it'll be probably a little bit easier, because you can go up across the top ceiling, down again,
just drop it out,
and then drop it out, where this one here, there's quite a big trench.
Yeah.
So maybe, in hindsight,
the other
end could work better.
Yeah, and that way it's out of the way as well.
Well, it's out of the way, but I'll still be able to see it.
Yes.
And which I like. You know what I mean? And I guess that leaves this free for my orchard and all the other bits and pieces, doesn't it?
Yep.
And I'll just buy a fake one off you that will just spin up here. You know?
So that you can say you've got two.
Okay, so I've just had a walk around with the electricians in Liberia. Great to have Liberia here to offer me advice about the lights and bits and pieces. What I've found is that sometimes you just get out of your league, so they know where the lights are going, they know I want them dimmable, and they really know what they're doing. So this is a point where I'm going to step back and let them sort it out.
Good news has arrived. The engineers have made the call and the blockies can continue work on the fireplace.
Okay, so fireplace is going up, very exciting. This is one of the parts that I'm really, really excited about, which has really driven a lot of the shape of the room and everything like that. And this is what I want, a concrete block fireplace. Love it. It's going to look awesome.
And that's not the only cause for celebration.
Yes! My roof has arrived!
Not only is the roof here, but with a digger turning up to start making the trench for the water and electrical services, the site has become a hive of activity.
Lounge area here.
Well, Steve was right. It is certainly all go. We've got diggers putting in services. We've got the electricians here, got that covered off. Liberio's here, so we're covering off solar and wind. My favourite piece, the fireplace is going in. After a minor hiccup, we all got a little bit confused there about sizes and what was going on, but that seems to be remedied now, and it's rocketing along. So yeah, it's an exciting day.
It's an icy start to day 40 of the 100-day batch.
Another absolutely freezing day in paradise. As you can see, it's not just frost, it's literally giant sheets of ice here. We'll have a little.
Sleepy little Kuratau is all quiet. But up at the site for Hamish and Anita's holiday house, that's soon to change.
I'm enjoying this. I've wanted to do this for a very, very long time.
Today's a big day for the batch build. By the end of the day, the roof should be on. It's a major milestone, and Hamish couldn't be more excited about seeing his corrugated design in action.
I like iron. I think it's quintessentially, you know, a Kiwi thing. And yeah, once again, it comes down to that sort of barn-like kind of structure. So corrugated iron was the natural choice for the roof. And in black, because Anita and I are creating our black box sitting in the landscape. So black iron roof. And I think it was the easiest decision I had from the outset. There was never any other option. It was black corrugated iron. You know, there are other, obviously, you know, profiles and bits and pieces you can choose for your iron, but I just like standard, good old Kiwi corrugate.
The roof wasn't always going to have the simple black corrugated look. Hamish's solar panels were originally going to be fixed to it.
So we've got a lot of solar panels. I think Liberia said there's 12. Could be wrong on that, but I think there's about 12 panels going in. And also the wind turbine's going to be over here as well. I don't want them to be too close to each other. I want them to sort of have at least a little bit of standing alone sort of stuff. But in now engaging the size of the amount of panels, I'm kind of glad that I've taken everyone else's advice and shifted them from the roof and put them down here on a freestanding structure. It might have, you know, it probably would have dominated the roof just a little bit too much and affected the look, which is, of course, very important. It's what I like.
Hamish's batch is in a high wind zone, so before the roof goes on, it needs the final all clear from council. And the inspector has turned up in good time.
How are you, mate? Good. Very excited.
Triboard.
Yep.
Okay.
It's another day of busy activity, with the block layers finishing the fireplace, electricians running wires, and the roofers beginning to kick into action. And Hamish is keeping busy too. He's planning the final look and placement for his 2 giant water tanks.
Allow me to help you, Steve, with the tape. I like to be useful on site. What we're measuring up at the moment is what the overall length of our slab is going to be, and then we'll work out a width. So I'm in line with the end of the tank now.
Yeah, so I'd say go about 1 metre that way.
I mean, you've got to have 20,000 litres of potable water stored on site. That's the council requirements. So there are our 2 10,000 litre tanks. The water tanks have to sit on a concrete base. So we're going to make it a bit oversized so the pump can sit on it, make it look a little bit more of a feature, and we're going to make it relatively high, the concrete slabs, so the tanks get a sort of an elevated feel, which is the whole point of going for our corrugated iron tanks. It's not to hide them away, it's to make them a feature. Yeah, that's my plan anyway.
It all seems to be coming together at the same time. The roof is on, and just as that finishes, the last brick is placed in the fireplace.
Guys, thank you so much. The fireplace looks sensational. It is exactly what I've always wanted as a fireplace, and oh yeah, magnificent. Thank you so much for doing that.
Good doing a job that someone appreciates.
That's what I like to hear. Come back and have a beer with me when we have the wrap party.
You never know when we'll drop in.
There you go. Excellent. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
All done, team?
Yeah.
Whoa, thank you so much for your work. I really appreciate it. I know it's been cold, and I know you travelled a long way down to do it for me, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much once again.
All right.
Very kind of you.
Enjoy.
See you guys.
It's a positive end to the day, but there's still one thing that Hamish is a little nervous about. Friend and mentor Mark Graham will be arriving tomorrow morning, and Hamish is hoping the progress will pass for Mark's critical eye. Morning comes, and Hamish is meeting with his friend and landscaper Gavin to make plans for the outdoor area.
Hey, how are you, Gav? Thanks for coming down, buddy.
So he lets Mark loose on his site.
Wow, isn't this just lovely? What a great space. So it's going to be a big kitchen here, dining through here, beautiful double-sided fireplace, and then around the other side we're going to have cupboards here, beautiful cozy little living space right around the fire and looking out to this fantastic view. I like it a lot. I think this is going to look fantastic. So I wonder what happened to the orientation. Let's have a look. Well, it's there still, but I wonder if the house is oriented where we discussed it was going to be. But, you know, this view is so expensive anyway. And look at that beautiful rainbow. Perfect. And the snow on the mountains over there. Oh my God, this place is beautiful. I mean, tell me how it feels, because this is your dream coming to fruition.
It feels beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, to turn up and look at it. I smile as I drive up the road. And as I pull in the gate, I smile more.
Yeah.
And I get excited.
And you get inside and you can see it coming together, can't you?
Yeah. The fireplace has been, funnily enough, the fireplace is one of the most exciting things I've seen go up the blockwork.
Yeah.
It's such a simple thing. It's a rectangle box.
But it's literally and metaphorically the heart of the house, isn't it?
It is. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah.
With Mark's enthusiasm and seal of approval on the build, it all seems to be looking good. But with so many tradies having been on site, doing many things at once, there is always the chance of mistakes. Fingers crossed, nothing was forgotten in the rush. The New Zealand badge. It's a part of our national heritage. It's as if there's something in our DNA that compels us to create our own special place where memories are made, lazy summer days and family fun. For designer and broadcaster Hamish Dodd, it's no different. Here's his uncle swinging a hammer, building the old family badge back in the 70s near Lake Taupo. Now Hamish is returning to the lake. He and partner Anita Headley plan to create their own dream, a badge built from scratch. And to top it all, they've decided it needs to be built in just 100 days. They've chosen Hamish's childhood stomping ground of Kuratau in the heart of the southern Waikato. The plateau is all rolling hills and bush with hints of thermal activity. It's a beautiful landscape, but what makes it special for Hamish are the memories.
I have holidayed at Kuratau since I was a small little person. We just loved it. It was sunny, there was kayaking to do, you can be on the lake, which is refreshing. There's lots of activity, etc., etc. I grew up on ideas of one day owning a property there myself and having the chance to perhaps build or renovate a batch down there to make it your own. I guess with what I do, that was always going to be the thing. I was never going to walk into ready-made.
It's been a battle with budgets and a war against weather to get where the batch is now. But overall, progress is good. The Triboard walls came up quickly despite the threat of rain, and after the build got a protective wrap, the roof could be put on. The centrepiece of the house, the large brick chimney, had a troubled start, but after last-minute sizing issues were resolved, it was also finished in good time. Now, on to day 44. They're less than a week away from hitting the halfway mark of the 100-day build, and the plan before then is to get the plumbing and groundwork complete.
Yeah, so today we have the wastewater treatment system going in and all the drainage going in at the same time. We've also got the plumbers on site doing all their pipe out and getting that all complete. Pretty busy day, but productive.
We've got the Bobcat here, but it's got a chain trencher set up on the front of it, and currently it's running the irrigation lines for the wastewater system. We're putting 4 in down here, which is perfect. That means my trees and the front hedge will be amazingly irrigated, which we like. Now, while he's here, for Anita and her passion for lavender, which I'll be brutally honest, we don't share. She has lost the bath inside, so I'm going to put in for her as a treat and a surprise big rows of lavender running up the side of the field here. It'll be stunning. Now I've got to go and mark it out. Everyone who designs gardens and loves gardens, whatever you do, has their own way of doing things, and I really like the juxtaposition of the clipped and the straight mixed in with the rambling and unruly. Some people would fight the contours of the land. I say, why? I think that the rolling contours of the landscape is the beauty of this spot. It's rolling hills everywhere. So why fight it, run with it, and help to try and make it even more beautiful than it was in the beginning.
Instead of going for a traditional septic tank, Hamish opted for a wastewater treatment system that would better suit his location as well as be more environmentally friendly.
The level of treatment that has been deemed required for this type of area, this area being very close to the lakeside, it has to be much higher than just a normal septic tank can provide. Out the back end of our system, the level of quality of effluent is much, much higher, so the environmental impact is a lot lower. We take the effluent from a single-chambered septic tank and pass it through a specialised filter, which grows bacteria, which in turn breaks down the contaminants in the wastewater. We're left with a very clear effluent, which is ideal for ground irrigation.
It's an exhilarating day for Hamish. There's lots of activity going on outside, but what's more exciting is what's waiting for him inside the batch.
Fireplace is here, yay. Very exciting part of the house for me. It's double-sided, which is fabulous, so it'll go in the hole here. We wanted a big fire and we wanted a double-sided gas. So I had to think about, it's going to warm in here relatively well, but how do we heat the bedrooms? And yeah, it comes with a special ducting kit that takes all the heat through the room, so that'll keep the family nice and warm.
Plumbing week has started well, and Hamish has a lot to be happy about. Unfortunately, the next day when Hamish arrives on site, he's greeted with a sizable problem.
Yeah, so it just needs to be this deep all the way across, then you can get your feeds in.
Yeah. Talk to him when you speak to him, otherwise I'll talk to him later on today.
It'll be a tidier look if we pack the whole wall.
Yeah.
Rather than everything starting to just be little add-ons everywhere.
Yeah.
What we're chatting about is just the running of the services, and obviously it gets hard for a plumber to run pipes when you've got solid walls. It's not end of the world stuff, but it's about making it look good. You still want a certain level of finish through without boxes sticking out and all that, if you can avoid it,
Hamish isn't used to the specifics of working with Triboard, and since it's clear some important decisions need to be made, he decides to take a break from the site to make calls and write plans.
Been talking to the plumbers obviously this morning, sorting out how we're going to go with the plumbing. I mean, we're on time, we're on budget, so that means that everything seems to be running smoothly. I think the only thing that's kind of throwing me is the plumbing side of things for, you know, the bathrooms and the kitchens. That's purely because I've never worked with a product like Triboard before. So I guess this is where you come in unstuck. So I went and chose floating vanities with Anita and Mum. But of course, that doesn't really work. You kind of got to think. So once again, it's about making a product work and not trying to fight it the whole time. But if I keep up to speed with things, it should be fine.
Work continues at full pace, and it's turning into a hectic few days as tradies and materials turn up at an exciting rate.
These are so-cols. These rings go in the ground and form a chamber, and this side of it is like a permeable surface, so the water fills up in here when it rains, and then just slowly seeps out into the ground. Piece of cake.
It's coming to the end of the plumbing and groundwork on site, and Hamish is somewhat glad to see the end of it, as it's been a stressful process for him.
End of the day, and I'm really tired. The responsibility is large because things fall on me, obviously, to make decisions where things are going, but you start to second guess yourself. I think that's the real key. And I mean, this is what I kind of do, so if I'm finding it stressful, I can only imagine how it is for other people who have nothing to do with the industry and just find there's so many questions bamboozling, and you just got to have faith in the people who are actually working on the project, you know, that you've got a good team of people around you. Hunters asking me, you know, I don't see much of you at the moment, Dad, when will I see you again? So you try and explain, you know, that we're doing this for us, but still, that's little consolation to a little kid who wants his dad around. But we are coming along, we're on time and we're on budget, so can't ask for more than that, really.
The 100-day batch has been a dream for Hamish and partner Anita for a long time. Almost 7 weeks since they broke ground on their plot of land in Kuratau, they're not far off the halfway point of the project. It's insulation week, and since it's the heart of winter, Hamish is more aware than ever how important it is to get onto heating his house.
Right, so behind me, as you can see, the insulation is going in currently. It's my earth wall glass wall. I'll take this little piece. Yeah, so I mean, you can see what it's basically looks like, you know. It's quite a cool brown colour, which is nice. Yeah, here we go. See. Look at that. I've officially contributed to the build for the first time. Feels pretty good. I've missed a spot here, haven't I? Okay, so this is the product. How's earthwall glass wool different to regular glass wool products?
Well, it differs in the way that it's made with plant-based binders, so there's no chemicals or formaldehyde. It's also 80% recycled glass, so sustainability, it's right up there.
Very cool.
A couple of weeks ago, Hamish's friend Bruce came by to check on the batch's progress. As a double glazing expert and a local who's currently building his own house in the area, Bruce knows all about the importance of insulation, especially on the Central Plateau.
Bruce, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah. Bruce, this is Wade.
Hello, Wade. Hi, Bruce. How are you?
Wade's fitting out the insulation for me. It's good you guys are here, you know. Now we can have a little chat about insulation, because obviously I understand the higher the R value, you know, the better the insulation. But is that just R? Or?
Well, the lower the R value, the less insulation. So R0 would be nothing. But you know, an R value is made up of the different components of a building. So, you know, everything has a certain R value for it. So in your walls, we have an R 2.0 earthwall glasswall segment. And when we look at the other building components, it comes to about 2.1 or 2.2. Depending on which part of New Zealand you're in, you have to meet that code. So here we're on the Lake Taupo, Zone 3, so coldest zone for New Zealand.
Really? So this is the coldest zone? Zone 3 is as cold as you get in New Zealand?
It's the same as the South Island, Wade?
Yeah, that's right. So Central Plateau is the only region in the North Island that's Zone 3.
Pack it up, boys, we're moving north!
What I'm getting the impression is that we've got some pretty cosy walls, Hamish. And we talked about that last time when we were talking about glass.
And we talked about the R value, and to your advice, low E glass will now be put in the windows.
Yeah, so by doing that, Hamish, you have halved the heat loss through that glass again over standard double glazing. Easy way to think of it is you've gone effectively from the performance of a standard double glazing to the performance of a triple glazing.
It's nice to make Bruce happy with me.
With Hamish's new windows and doors arriving next week, he leaves the build to let the insulation team finish the job over the next couple of days. And as the week rolls on, the build hits a big milestone. It's the halfway point, and with the roof finished and Hamish's new windows not far off, the protective wrap can now come down.
Wow, so arrived early this morning. Biggest thing, of course, I looked down from the top of the hill, as I've always been able to do, and the wrap's gone. There's just this little box there now. Yeah, so big things for today. Obviously, scaffold and wrap have come down. They're pumping the concrete into the fireplace. It's all go. We're on target, we're on schedule. Work progresses.
Because the roof insulation was recently finished, more progress could be made on the ceilings while Hamish was away.
The first 4 pieces of the ceiling are up. They're the biggest bits. It's fantastic. So the ceilings in here are grooved just like they are in the bedrooms. They are everything I expected. So yeah, perfect. Perfect. They just need battens now and away we go.
The builders are now moving on to putting up the dividing walls that separate the kitchen and living area from the other parts of the house. And since it's been a while since her last visit, Anita has come down to see how far things have come.
My last visit, all the walls were getting put up.
In under a month, all the drainages and the powers and the plumbings and the insulations and the buildings wrapped. The house has been scaffolded and shrink wrapped, the roof's on, ceilings are going up.
So are we on time?
I reckon we're probably about 4 days behind schedule.
Okay, yeah, I mean, everything has developed so much since I was last here.
Yeah.
I love that fireplace.
Yeah, the fireplace is magic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
The fireplace is next on the list. It's time for the concrete pour.
Look at it! It's done. What you can see where there's moisture coming through, I mean, concrete blocks are porous. So that's just the water from the grout working its way out, and that'll all dry and go back to being nice and light grey like we loved it before. Perfect.
Hamish has enlisted the help of his painter Reese, and on day 53 he gets started. It's turning out to be another tricky process because the builders have to work hard to stay ahead of him, and finishing the trims is a fiddly job.
Things moving along a little bit slowly. Reese is here painting and he's been a machine, and the guys have started putting around all the trim. There's a lot of it and it's a lot of work and it's fiddly and it's hard because there's only 2 guys here. The pressure's on them obviously to keep pace with the painter. He's probably going to run out of work, and I'm going to be ending up paying him to be standing around at this rate, which is not ideal.
At least Hamish still has his windows to look forward to, and they'll be the first thing to greet him tomorrow morning. But as the day begins, Hamish has discovered an issue, and it could be serious.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. We can't knock that down, it's full of blooming concrete. Oh dear.
The 100-day batch has passed the halfway mark, and as it rolls through its 8th week, there are issues beginning to pile up. Reese the painter has had to work right behind the builders as they finish the trims of each room. It's slowed down what was already a time-sensitive job, and today's temperature isn't helping.
It's a very brisk -3 today. Big day today, windows coming, material walls going to be stood, finishing lines continuing and painting. Tricky, everyone's working on top of each other. Good thing about the windows coming today is it's so blooming cold that we need to get the temperature up in the house. Probably going to have to hire some big diesel blowers to warm it up for Reese. If we can get it warm, we may get some colour on the walls, which will be kind of exciting, you know. I mean, the main guest room's in white, but Hunter's room in its Dauntless Blue by Resine is beautiful.
The colours are one thing Hamish is eager to see. Along with his windows arriving later today, it's going to transform the feeling of his batch.
This is Resine Space Coat Low Sheen, which is a highly washable finish, yet it's almost a matte finish, so it still hides the imperfections, but yet again highly washable, so great product, all-round product. It's designed for service rooms like bathrooms and kitchens. Yeah, so you can put it anywhere. I have it on my own house, that's how durable it is. Yeah.
It's not just the hold-ups and weather that's getting Hamish down. This morning he discovered another problem that could do serious damage to the budget and timeline. His fireplace doesn't fit the concrete opening properly.
So, little thing we've found, to get the fire into the hole, you need to be able to connect the pipework on the top, so that makes that a little bit tricky. But the fire face, the size, is the whole face of the opening that's there, and the flashing that comes only flashes this size, which is the opening in the fire. So you can see there's all this metal. So it's how do you get it in and then refinish it? Because the fireplace is engineered, so we can't just chop around.
But before he has time to focus on the dilemma, the good news for the day arrives.
Oh wow, look at my windows. They look beautiful. The windows are here and they look sensational. Look how sparkly and shiny they are. And I love the louvers too. The louvers are outstanding. Sensational. Warmth. I tell you, warmth. Reese will be ecstatic.
It's a short distraction from the pressing matter of the fireplace, but it just so happens that today is the day that James from Quanto has come to check on progress. Turning up every month is just part of his routine as quantity surveyor to make sure costs don't overrun. But this visit could prove to be a unique one, since the issue needs to be resolved soon.
Right, so the fire is too high to get in the hole and hook up the services to it, and it's the block work is too wide to fit the fireplace.
Right.
It's oversized.
So it sounds like a money issue, so probably three options, really.
Well said.
Off the cuff.
Yeah.
Knock down the chimney, let's start again.
Yep.
Find out whether there's a different sort of fascia detail where we can fit the same fireplace, or find out whether there is options on alternative fireplaces that do the same job, the double facing.
I'm decidedly quiet today.
I've noticed that, hey?
Yeah.
You're different.
It's not the norm. I'm like, oh.
Well, I tell you what, whatever we do, let's do it quickly. We've got guys on site there.
Yeah.
They'll be costing you money.
Yeah.
Let's make a decision. Let's go and have a look.
Yeah, sweet.
These sorts of issues tend to happen, in my mind, with a slight communication breakdown, somebody thinking that somebody else has got it covered, or interpreting the instruction manual differently. So, look, they happen frequently on site. It's not uncommon, and look, there is inevitably a solution to the problem. So it's just working out what that solution might be.
2 weeks ago, Steve and the block layers already encountered some confusion when constructing the opening for the fire. And it looks like what could be an engineer's miscalculation has come back to hit them hard. Hamish is keen to come up with anything that will work.
I reckon it's a piece-by-piece process, and the first thing to do is put the fire in. And then we can see what distances we've actually got and what the best solution's going to be to finish it around. You see how the height works for the block?
Yeah.
That would look quite good.
Yeah. It's not my fireplace, and I don't need to get used to it. But I think that you could potentially
get away with it.
Sort of see what that looks like. See, if you've got something powder coated to match your roof, which is black matte, I think you could potentially, I mean, it looks like quite a chunky fascia, but you almost need to look at it in
We need to get the fire
place.
in, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of...
Something like that.
And I think once it's on, and if you lose it in a sort of a black mat,
yep.
I don't think you'll see it as much.
Sold. I make decisions quickly and easily because the interest of doing it, we're going to get a fascia made, Steve, that covers whatever the hole is. Done. Okay, that's full. Fire solved.
Yeah, well, I think that's a solution. Folding down an aluminium flashing in the firebox, and you can have it sort of colour matched to the roof and to the joinery. So I think you know, at the end of the day, that's probably the most cost-effective solution. I think, from my perspective at least, for what it's worth, I think it will look good.
It's a great solution, and thank you for that. If we went on national television, I'd hug you. Happiness levels have escalated.
Good.
So yeah, it's pretty good.
A solution's in sight for a problem that could have sunk the budget for the 100-day batch. The new windows and doors will soon be protecting the build and the paintwork from the harsh winter elements. Hamish's week of woes may finally be looking up. The New Zealand batch, it's a part of our national heritage. It's as if there's something in our DNA that compels us to create our own special place where memories are made, lazy summer days and family fun. For designer and broadcaster Hamish Dodd, it's no different. Here's his uncle swinging a hammer, building the old family batch back in the 70s near Lake Taupo. Now, Hamish is returning to the lake. He and partner Anita Headley plan to create their own dream, a batch built from scratch. And to top it all, they've decided it needs to be built in just 100 days. They've chosen Hamish's childhood stomping ground of Kuratau in the heart of the southern Waikato. The plateau is all rolling hills and bush with hints of thermal activity. It's a beautiful landscape. But what makes it special for Hamish are the memories.
I have holidayed at Kuratau since I was a small little person. We just loved it. It was sunny, there was kayaking to do, you can be on the lake, which is refreshing. There's lots of activity, etc., etc. I grew up on ideas of one day owning a property there myself and having the chance to perhaps build or renovate a batch down there to make it your own. I guess with what I do, that was always going to be the thing. I was never going to walk into ready-made.
It's nearing on 2 months since Hamish and Anita's build began, and it's come a long way since then. It's faced budget constraints and weather hold-ups. But when Anita last checked in with Hamish, they're not that far behind.
So are we on time?
I reckon we're probably about 4 days behind schedule.
The paintwork has had a stop-start beginning, with Reese the painter and the builders having to work on top of each other to finish each room. And with the protective wrap no longer on the build, the cold is taking its toll, not only for comfort, but the paint is taking longer to dry.
If the paint takes too long to dry, it can sag if you're putting it on too thick. That's the only technicality here. Ideally you want 10 degrees, but in this case we'll have to get in the big gas blowers to get the finish we want.
It's day 56 of the 100-day batch, and it started with the worrying realisation that the fireplace opening is too small for the actual gas fire.
So it's how do you get it in and then refinish it? Because the fireplace is engineered, so we can't just chop around. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Fortunately, quantity surveyor James from Quanto and Steve the Build's project manager were both on site and together with Hamish found a solution to fixing up the fireplace opening. One that didn't involve demolishing Hamish's special concrete centrepiece.
Happiness levels have escalated.
Good.
So yeah, it's pretty good.
Finally, now that fireplace anxieties are all but taken care of, Hamish can get on with the rest of the day, and it's set to be a productive one. The windows and doors have arrived, and getting them installed is going to make a world of difference to the work site.
Once the wrap came down, the wind just blew straight in through the giant front window. So the guys put up some boards, which was very clever, and Closed it off, and that stopped the wind, made it a lot more bearable. So right now we're taking it down to create an ice box for Reese to work in. But very quickly the windows will go and we'll heat it all up, and that'll really allow Reese to punch on at the rate that he works, which is like lightning.
Large sliding doors are planned for either side of the bench, and because of their huge size, they have to be constructed on site.
This is probably about one of the biggest ones you get in there, all completely made on site.
Yep, there you go.
As the builders and window installers get stuck in, Hamish has rolled up his sleeves too and is enjoying the feeling of a busy build site.
I do love being here. This is very exciting. It's fun, you know. I mean, look at it. I got to make a spade out of an old bit of block. Now I'd do this again straight afterwards. I mean, anyone who goes into a building project and thinks that it's going to be all rosy and sunshine and flawless, you know, I mean, they're dreaming, really. This is a huge thing with a lot of people going into it, with a lot of different products and a lot of different expectations. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd definitely do this again. I love it.
As Operation Windows continues, Hamish takes the opportunity to see his friend Bruce. Bruce is a double glazing expert who recommended the specially insulated glass being used today. And since he's building his own house on the other side of the lake, Hamish wants to get any last tips about being energy efficient in a region so affected by the cold.
So this is the place, Bruce?
It is the place.
Loving it. We're almost neighbours by now. I'm loving it. I think it's a beautiful position. I'm really keen to hear about what you've done, being that you're living here full time, insulation-wise, window-wise. You know, the full kit and caboodle.
Yeah, so we've kind of said what we want to do is build on passive house principles.
Yes. So just give me a quick rundown of what a passive house concept is.
Yeah, so there's a few things that are important for a passive house. The first is the insulation. The second thing is about the thermal separation from the outside to the inside. And then we want to have super insulated windows, and then we want to keep it airtight. So we're not going to have a completely airtight home, but we are going to get close to it. And then when we make it close to airtight, then we have to think about ventilation. So all of that to try and say, could we not have to spend money on heating the home?
Good idea. Yeah. Should we go and have a look?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Back at his own place, the doors and larger windows are going on smoothly. However, the narrow openings for the louver windows have encountered a problem.
Okay, 1990. We have 1970.
The sizes are off by a considerable amount. But over at Bruce's, Hamish is unaware.
So we've moved from room to room, and each room, yes, you can see through, but each room's kind of got its own sort of picture frame view out of the lake. So each room is independent. I like that a lot. I think it's beautiful. Where's north here, and how have you orientated the house for sort of sun? Because I know that was a big thing you were doing.
So this out here is north.
Oh, that's north.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Sun will stream through there. In a well-designed house, what we're wanting to do is put as much of the glass as we can on the north face.
Yep.
Capture the warmth of the sun, and have as little as possible on the south side. We capture the
windows
warmth that
here.
way. Yep.
No windows behind.
Yep.
Makes sense.
As darkness is setting in, it looks like Hamish won't be able to deal to the windows till tomorrow. And when morning comes, the weather decides to match Hamish's mood. Things are not looking good.
The louver windows, they don't fit the holes. They've been designed to be the same as the big sliders. That means that at the bottom of the window in the frame, there's 40 mils. So technically they should sit on the concrete, which if that's how it's all meant to be done, is no problem. We just have to cut them out and put them in. But if we can't cut that out, for permitting and structural reasons, then the windows, there's no option, the windows have to go back, because I'm not cutting out the top and popping them higher, because then you'd have this zigzag of windows, which is no-go.
But there's a bigger problem. While he was away yesterday, the gas fitter fitted the chimney flue to the roof. meaning that to attach Hamish's large box chimney over it is next to impossible at this late stage.
So, I mean, when it comes to the chimney going up, the guys can't work on the roof. There's no scaffolding. It's not safe, and it's wet. You know, it's a combination of issues. So it's how do we do that? Do we cut through from the inside, which means we can't finish the ceilings in here? Or do we build it as a separate entity? Do I flag the chimney coming out the top? You know, I mean, this is where it starts to kick in. But I don't want to, because that is an integral part of the look of the house, is to have this big box chimney in the middle. Because once again, it's a very simple house, and that means that the finishing and the detail in it has to be what makes it stand out, a simple, elegant design. If it starts going higgledy-piggledy, then it's just a cheap bang together small house.
What makes it worse for Hamish is that he needs to get back to work in Auckland. Being on-site is useful for the build, but he's got to make sure his income doesn't dry up, especially considering that every new problem comes with a price tag. It's day 62 of the 100-day batch. Having spent some time back at work in Auckland, Hamish is preparing to head back to his site in Kuratau. But first, he's got some packaging to do.
Getting someone to freight point to point and lots of little deliveries was just stupid, and there's only so much you can do with trailers and fitting cars, and well, there's no way of fitting the big stuff in. So best thing done, get a company that has gone around today and picked all the bits up, come to my house, collected the last of it, the kitchen, dining room table, etc., and we'll now take it tomorrow down to Kuratau. So I get to be down there as well, meet them there. Makes life simple. This is my antler chandelier that I've talked about a lot. Can't wait to see it hanging. It's an artificial antler, which I approve of, because if you can make something fake that looks this real, fantastic. Save the real one for the animal in the paddock, is my opinion. But yeah, plus there would be a lot of deer that would have gone into making this, and I'm certainly no hunter.
The next day, Hamish arrives back on site. Last time he was here, he was facing escalating problems. Today, some of those problems are still there, but there's really only one that has got under Hamish's skin.
Okay, problem that is what's been loitering around the outside, and we've kind of skirted around it, was that the framing for the chimney coming out of the roof was not done before the roof went on. Since then, the gas fitter has come and fitted the flue in bits and pieces. What's meant to come up is a massive rectangle chimney out the top that's clad in the Abode Vulcan cladding with a Louvertech cowl that stands up. We're talking about something that sticks up nearly 2 metres out of the top of the roof. You're not meant to just have that cowl there, that's meant to be inside. You know, everything built around it is almost a veneer, but it's too late for the piece now. So, and yeah, it's just, yeah, it's gonna have to be sorted. I've got some ideas, and yeah, I'll have a crack at it.
As Hamish tries to come up with a solution to his chimney dilemma, the builders continue on with the ceilings in the central rooms. In the bedrooms, the painting is done, completed when Hamish was away. Painting on the main area will go ahead in the weekend. So before then, the builders need to finish the trims, and Hamish needs to install his kitchen. The builders only have until tomorrow, and with a lot to do, it's looking like it could be a long couple of days. Back in Auckland, Anita is with Hamish's mum, Adrian, at the tile depot.
Oh, wow, lots of tiles. There's a lot, Anita, and there's a lot more we can look through.
Okay.
As Hamish's business partner and an experienced interior designer herself, Adrian has a lot to say about what style of tiles will work in the 2-batch bathrooms.
Okay, well, I'll get my plans out.
I think Andrew's come up with something. This really ties with my brief really well. What do you think of those?
They're quite busy, aren't they?
They are quite busy.
So we wouldn't put them in both?
No, I think this would be perfect, say, for your bathroom.
Yeah.
It wasn't Hamish's bathroom, but I think Hunter really was quite keen on something blue, which I think some things here.
Hello, Adrian.
Hello,
nice to see you
Andrew.
again.
Nice to see you too. Andrew, this is Anita.
Hi, Anita.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yes, so I bought a couple of other options, which once again are the more expensive option, but they are porcelain, so they're a stronger wearing tile. This is a ceramic tile, which is fantastic for walls and low traffic floor areas, but it depends on the look you're going for. And
exactly.
Cost effective wise, this is half the price versus this, where we could probably tile a lot more using that product.
How stunning. All 4 walls wrapped in this, and then we've got to find something wonderful to go on the floor. Anita liked the wooden look we looked at on our way in. Do you think something like that would work with this?
Yes, definitely. I've pulled out a couple of timber porcelain options already.
Oh, it's gorgeous, and look at the variation. I think it's absolutely wonderful, and I don't think we need to look any further.
Sort of decision we have to show.
I feel really confident.
I think it'll look fantastic, and I look forward to seeing the end product.
Back at the batch, the day's nearing its end, and Hamish hasn't found much joy in solving the problem with his chimney.
What we've decided to do is Darren's putting all the nogging inside the roof space for it. So if we did put something on the roof, we've got strength there to support it, because on the plans it shows it all braced down to the top of the chimney, which is engineered. And I guess maybe it's a case of me looking around further to solve the problem. But for now, yeah, I'm stuck with that. I mean, I'm big on aesthetics, it's what I do. And when you do something very, very simple like this, it needs these points to stand out. Otherwise, it's just going to look like a prefab building. That was the point of difference, was that. And yeah, it's very disappointing.
It's Friday morning and day 64 of the 100-day batch. The builders are already up and working on the last of the ceiling triboard. Electrician Simon has come to prepare the kitchen area for the installation tomorrow. While Simon gets stuck in with the wiring, Hamish has the kitchen itself to welcome on site.
Kitchen's here, yay! Okay, so it's ready for install for tomorrow, and we're ready for it. So tomorrow, my mate Craig, he's come down to give me a hand. We'll put up once we've unpacked the kitchen, we'll work out the heights and bring the power wires through, and we'll put the hardies up. We're going to put the kitchen back in place. Which, if I say it really, really fast like this, it sounds real simple.
The ceilings are finished, but it's looking like the battening might not get finished in time for the weekend. Hamish and the head builder need to come up with a plan B. The sun has long set, but the builders are still working hard. Holding back the painter anymore will really put the build behind, and it's something that Hamish really can't afford.
End of the day, and a lot's happened. Wow, the guys are pulling a late one to get the battening finished in time for the painter to start on Monday. And they've done all the fiddly stuff, so now they're starting to work on the really big long runs, which are easier. Yeah, it feels like forever, but I'm sure it feels longer for them. But even though it's cold, you stand out and you look at the view and you go, it's just beautiful.
The next morning, the battening is all done, and Hamish has managed to convince his longtime builder friend Craig to help him with the kitchen install. And it's done, just in time for the painter. The build is back on track. It's a week on from when Hamish was last in Kuratau at the site of his build, which means the 100-day batch is on to day 72. And there's less than a month before it needs to be all finished. Work has moved to the outside of the house. Hamish's black timber cladding is finally going on.
Cladding's going up, and it's going up a lot quicker than I thought it was. One team's working on the front face, and they measure and cut the boards to length and put them up. Yet when you do the end of it with the gables, they leave them longer because it'd be too hard to get it and too time-consuming to get it perfect all the way through, and you wouldn't want to cut one short. So they then run along afterwards with a skill saw and trim the bottom off those ones there. It's amazing. It's my new favourite thing of today. After looking at it for weeks with white building paper, you know, every step of the way. So first of all, you have the roof going, it's black, and you go, oh, there we go, there's a bit of black. And then you put the joinery in, you see, and that was black too, so I had more black coming on. And now the cladding's coming on, my black box is coming together. And it's very exciting, and it looks as I pictured in my head. Very exciting.
Hamish's friend Craig has come back to work on the exterior, which is useful as he's already familiar with the Abode Vulcan Plus cladding.
Yeah, this is the second time I've used it in my career, so it hasn't been around that long. It's all secret nailed, so you know, with normal general shiplap weatherboard, you'll see either rose head nails or stainless head nails, but this one is all hidden. So yeah, I think it's a great finish. It gives that effect of no nails on the outside. With the dark colour, it needs a good sized nail to hold it on in case she starts to move, but being the Abode timber, there's no real sort of expansion to it, so it's pretty cool.
The next day, the tiles that Anita and Adrian picked arrive, and the tiling in the kitchen can now start. The front deck begins construction without a hitch. However, the cladding has seen a small one.
The water's pooling into the bedroom here. I'd say a nail's gone through the, from the skirtings or something, eh?
Right through it. Yep. Feel the nail in the pipe. Bugger.
Right now, the puncher is an easy fix, but had there been no running water, no one would have noticed until it was too late. It's a cunning move by the plumber.
So what the builders have done, they were just putting their cladding up, like timber bed and so on, and then they shot a nail in the pipe. I always try to leave the water feed under pressure, so when accidentally the nail goes through the pipe, you can see the leak straight away. It leaks. Otherwise, what happens if there's no water in the pipe, you finish your cladding and you do all your lining and stuff, and then you don't even know that there's nail going into a pipe.
As the tile is finished in the kitchen, the day comes to an end. Tomorrow is sure to be a big milestone, as the cladding is due to be completed by the end of the day.
It's really nice to see it coming together and looking like I pictured it. So I guess this is the case, you know, where you run through all the people that have helped you achieve your ideal, and now you see this. But at the end of the day, it was, you know, me who pushed for the black box, me who pushed for the black joinery and the black roof and a very simple structure. Anita very much liked it and was into the idea, that's for sure. But yeah, there's an element of relief, you know, as you see something come together and you go, it's beautiful and it's simple, but it is exactly what we want. And I mean, I'd live in it as a house full time.
However, as day 74 rolls around, something's not right. The deck's still going in fine, the tilers are making fast work of the bathroom, but it's the cladding that has come to a halt.
Good news or the bad news, H?
Okay, I'm gonna run with the good news.
Good news is sunny, it's warm.
It is,
and we're enjoying our work.
That's all that's good.
Yeah. Bad news?
Yeah.
We're out of cladding.
You're kidding me?
No, the whole front of the house short.
Yeah.
80 lengths at 2.5. So we've got all these offcuts.
Yeah.
Because obviously they've measured as a square meterage rate.
Yeah.
So what we're going to need you to do is get on the blower.
Yep.
And see if you can order us some more.
Get some more cladding.
Yeah.
Right, but we're not going to be able to get that now anyway, are we?
No.
Because it needs to be pre-stained and stuff on both sides. Thanks, pal. That sounds small, but it's not, because the cladding's got to come in, you know, it's specially run stuff.
Hey, hey, I'm going up straight to the top, walking out with my head up high. Hey, 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 moving on to a brand new place, and now it's here in the blink of an eye. Hey, 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 you can't stop me now, moving fast, going everywhere I wanted to be. Hey, 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 and now I'm here today with Made for Me. Yeah, I was born
In September of 2014, designer and broadcaster Hamish and partner Anita embarked on a mission to build the batch of their dreams. It all started when they went on holiday to the small lakeside village of Kuratau, the very same place Hamish used to spend getaways as a kid. It didn't take much for them to fall in love with it all over again.
You know, we came down here on holiday, we talked about buying some land and doing something down here. We saw the section, and then we never really stopped, did we? It just rolled from there. We were into it.
You were drawing plans, just draft plans, before we had even bought the section.
Yeah, that's true. What we want to do now is keep the building very, very simple in its structure. A, for cost, B, for aesthetics, because it'll basically be standalone in the paddock. Once the idea sort of took seed in the mind, we were off, weren't we? We had fun, like sitting in bed, drawing, looking at pictures. It became our thing, and then we were underway. You know, there was no really mucking around with it. We just fired up and off we went.
We sort of knew what we wanted, and it was just a matter of making it work, really.
Yeah, making it happen.
Part of making it work was figuring out just how much their dream design would cost. And that's when the recommendation of Hamish's friend and design guide publisher, Mark Graham, proved best.
The simple, most effective way of getting a good handle on what your costs are going to be is by using a quantity surveyor.
Then it was the unenviable job of quantity surveyor James from Kuratau to tell Hamish that his design would cost far above his set budget of $450,000.
We sent you through the estimate of cost, and judging by your reaction over the telephone, there's some things to go through. There is an opportunity for the designer to go back and just pinch this in. And look, by simply doing that, you will be saving on a cost per square metre basis.
It then fell on architectural designer Kim Bowman to make the downsize work.
We were concerned, when we had to shrink it. I mean, it all comes back to having the right people with you on the way because, you know, Kim, for example, she wouldn't have shrunk the house to something that wasn't going to work.
No. I love it. It's fantastic. I had no idea this is what it would be like. The ability to look in through the windows into the house.
Yeah, it really helps to visualise the project.
More than revealing an incredible working design for their vision, she had other suggestions as well to speed the build-up. At this point, Hamish and Anita had decided to personally challenge themselves to complete the build in just 100 days. So, the suggestion of an alternative building material called Triboard was welcomed with open arms.
The Triboard then comes from a fact that we still wanted a solid wall. That was the vision from the start. Going and seeing Kim, and Kim suggesting the Triboard as an option, because it gave me my solid wall, which could be painted white, because you kind of have to paint it. So that worked out well. It's one of those things, you know, it's once you start getting into it, the suggestions start flowing, you start talking to people, and you end up with a plan. But then you've actually got to build it.
With plans in hand, a build start date of May 2015 was set. And before they knew it, the diggers were breaking ground. It was day one of the 100-day batch.
I can remember right back at the beginning, it was the first day the diggers came in, and just sitting there going, whoa, okay, it's actually happening now. And then it was almost a little bit shocking for a second, you know. It took off, it happened, it started.
The build was on. But it was a staggered start. Rain held up pouring the concrete foundations.
First of all, the slab gets poured, then it's got to cure. And we can't pour the slab in the beginning because it was raining. So not that we lost the 3 weeks, but there was a lost week of, hey, we can't pour the concrete slab. Okay, so there's a week down. Then there's the cure time of it of a couple of weeks. So, yeah, I mean, these are all the things that they frustrate you, I suppose, as the owner, because you're excited about doing it, not because you just want to be a pain in the backside. But they are part of the building process.
The bad weather wasn't going to let up soon.
So the rain's setting in, which is not ideal. We had hoped for a fine week. When you're standing Triboard frames, it's better, obviously. Yeah, but what can you do? It's winter. We're probably lucky to have what we've got. Rain. I can remember being here on a windy, miserable, rainy day while the poor guys were trying to stand frames and thinking, at some point, I'm going to be sitting inside this and it's finished and it'll all feel distant.
After the initial slow stages, things started to rocket ahead. The triboard frames meant that the rooms had their shape already, and once the building was covered in a protective wrap, the weather couldn't hold things up anymore. The expertise of Hamish's building project manager Steve Blake was proving crucial.
Yeah, I mean, having a project manager working with you on the job, we found invaluable in many ways. I mean, there were little things like when the place was getting shrink wrapped, I had no idea that Steve had organised to do that. That was just clever and smart for this work environment, you know. And then there's lots of things where you sit there and you think, well, I could have done that, but there are so many things you would have missed. You know, it's organising things like the code of compliance to get done in bits and pieces, dealing with contractors, checking through the bills, working out what needs to be paid, what doesn't need to be paid yet. There's a lot of money going in and out. Well, not in, it's all going out. Yeah. But having someone oversee all that sort of stuff makes life a lot easier. And if you can't be there regularly on site, then you really need someone there to be doing that job. That's what they are, they're your representative on site.
And it was one of these times when Steve was on site that a problem was discovered. It was the issue of the fireplace sizing.
So essentially what we've got here is the engineers have designed the fireplace. However it's happened, they haven't got the right dimensions for what the fireplace we're putting in is. The opening's a little bit too small.
Hamish's centrepiece brick chimney and fireplace was always going to be a primary focus of the batch design, but it would also prove to be a constant source of trouble.
We've gone back to the engineers to see whether or not we can increase that opening size, and being an engineered element, they need to make sure it still does its job, so hopefully we'll hear back on that shortly and it'll be good to go.
After the engineers had cleared new measurements for the fireplace, its construction could finally go ahead. But it wouldn't be the last of it. As Hamish and Anita's 100-day batch pushed into the halfway mark, the roof was on, the walls were insulated, and plumbing and services installed. Everything was taking shape at speed.
Every time I came down, something had happened so quickly. So for me, because I wasn't here as much as you know, you come and then the walls are up, then the next thing is, you know, the roof's on there.
My last visit, all the walls were getting put up.
In under a month, all the drainages and the powers and the plumbings and the insulations and the roofs on, ceilings are going up.
Yeah, I mean, everything has developed so much since I was last year.
Yeah.
I love that fireplace.
Yeah, fireplace is magic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
But the fireplace would rear its head again.
So, little thing we've found, to get the fire into the hole, you need to be able to connect the pipework on the top. So it's how do you get it in and then refinish it? Because the fireplace is engineered, so we can't just chop around. We were midway through the build. We were tired. We were stressed. The weather was not great. We were against the gun timing-wise. And for me, it just felt like a one more thing, you know? It's just one more thing that was a compromise. In the end, it got fixed. Craig cut the blocks. We got the fire in. It's worked out beautifully.
The chimney itself would prove to be a problem. The flue was installed too soon, meaning that Hamish couldn't put through the large box chimney that was key to his design.
The problem was that the roofing iron was put across the whole top, and then the scaffolding came down before the guys got to frame out the timber chimney that was meant to go out through the roof. It was a major to me because I had in my head this whole plan. I mean, I'm big on aesthetics, it's what I do. And when you do something very, very simple like this, it needs these points to stand out. Otherwise, it's just going to look like a prefab building. That was the point of difference, was that. And yeah, it's very disappointing. It's the kind of thing I've forgotten about with Move Forward, you know? There've been so many other things, decisions to make. There've been so many other things to spend money on.
Moving into the final month of the build, the batch really started to look just like Hamish and Anita's original vision when the cladding started going on.
It's amazing. It's my new favourite thing of today. After looking at it for weeks with white building paper, you know, every step of the way, so first of all you have the roof going, it's black, and you go, oh, there we go, there's a bit of black. And then you put the joinery in, you see, and that was black too, so I had more black coming on. And now the cladding's coming on, my black box is coming together. And it's very exciting, and it looks as I pictured in my head.
But it seemed like the most striking elements of the design continually proved to be the most problematic.
We're out of cladding.
You're kidding me?
No, the whole front of the house short.
It sounds small, but it's not, because the cladding's got to come in, you know, it's specially run stuff. Made me emotional when we ran out of cladding. From a time frame perspective, knowing that it was going to take weeks before they could come back down and finish it, it was a pain. It really was.
That was scary because, I mean, you want the house to look the same all around. I remember coming down and the front wasn't done. It was just like,
The solution for the cladding was, if we wanted it now, rather than waiting for a few months for it, was to use a finger jointed product. Finger jointing is when it's made up of lots of pieces of the same product. We've got away with it. Is it ideal? No, not in my mind, but it works. It's okay.
With a solution in place for the cladding, the rest of the build could go ahead. Inside and out were beginning to get closer and closer to finish, but the compounding effect of the delays meant that the 100-day target was about to go up in smoke. These past 2 weeks have been the final days of the build, and almost everything is on to its final stage. Louvretech have come up with a cost-effective solution for Hamish's barn doors in a modern look that still fits with the barn feel. Hamish's Smeg appliances, picked out last week personally by kitchen designer and friend Mal Corboy, have arrived and are now being fitted. Progress has been made outside as well.
Solar panels are in. Last time I was here, it was just a timber frame. Had the pleasure of digging the holes. Not all of them, but some of them. And so Liberia and the crew have been down and they've fitted the panels off. Marvellous. I really like it being down here on the ground. You can kind of, you know, interact with it. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's cool. Once again, it is what it is. It's something different. And yeah, I feel good about myself. I've done something for the environment. Very cool.
Hamish's other outside installation, his wind turbine, is moving in the light breeze, but has yet to be connected to the batch as it's waiting council sign-off before going live.
Well, it doesn't feel that long ago, really, that I was at Dynamic Energy with Liberia and having a look at the white wind turbine there, and now I've got my own. Mine's black because I'm fussy and I wanted a black one with a black pole. But that makes it a little bit more look like a piece of sculpture to me, so I love it. It's beautiful.
Everything is coming together at once. The house is being furnished, and there's one last trip that Hamish needs to make to really make this house a home.
One of the fun parts that you get to do when you're building a new place, well, I think everyone should do anyway, it's getting new beds. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump on to the Sleepmaker website, and they have a bed selector. I want pure comfort, absolute quality and total support. That's me. What's come up next for me is the Sleepmaker Together Alone range. Yeah, okay, so I guess now I go to the store and actually have a look at the bed. Hey.
Hi, how may I help you?
Okay, I've been on the Sleepmaker Selector website, and I was after 2 queen-size beds and 2 king singles, and this is what it's given me.
So you want a bed? Come, let me show you.
Cool.
Have a feel, have a lie down.
I can lie down on the bed?
Yes, you can lie down, try the bed out.
Okay.
Here's a firm pillow, try this one.
Thank you. Okay, I'll move the soft pillow out of the way. We're gonna go in for, yeah, that's the go. Look at that. Your head just sits so nicely on it. Why do people want mushy pillows when you can have a lovely firm pillow?
Hamish's rooms aren't huge, so he's after some space-saving solutions for his son Hunter's room.
This is a king single.
Right.
It's a pop-up bed also. Let me show how it works.
Okay. Oh, it's got one underneath.
That's right.
Ah, that.
You can put it together.
Oh, so it's at the same height.
Same height.
Right. So what I need then is I need two queens in the firm.
Good.
And I need 2 king singles, but I think one of them should be one of these pop-up bed sort of setups. That way, you know, if my son comes or we have extra guests, everyone can fit in. So what do I do now?
Okay, these beds are New Zealand made.
Yep.
They take about 2 weeks to be made.
Perfect.
So it's ready, we'll have it delivered to you.
Awesome. So it just gets delivered to my house.
That's right.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I think we've done well.
Absolutely.
I'll be smiled upon when I return home today.
And just as the beds are delivered, all work on site comes to an end. It's now day 112 of the 100-day batch, so they've overrun on the time. But all that's not going to matter if the batch can fulfill one question. Has it held up to Hamish and Anita's original dream? It's been 112 days since the diggers broke ground in Kuratau. Hamish and Anita's batch is finally finished. It's been a huge endeavour by everyone involved. And now it's finally time for the big reveal.
Well, we're done. And it's fantastic. Agreed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is what we thought it would be, and it's how we thought it would look. From the outset, we were always going for a simple design. An elegant black box standing proudly in the field, inspired by the rural barn. Throughout the build, it was always about making sure it would have clean, simple lines, everything in its place with a strong symmetry. And our finished batch achieves all of that. Inside the batch is what I'm most proud of. We combined a couple of rooms that were in our initial design, but what was initially a cost-saving exercise has turned out to be a beautiful open-plan space, with the concrete fireplace being the only thing separating the kitchen and dining rooms with the lounge.
Building project manager Steve Blake, minus his beard, has seen the project through from start to finish, and he's equally impressed with the final result.
It's come up amazing, just looks really good, especially furnished. Furnishings make the whole thing look amazing. The Triboard's looking really good. The battening system that we went with was a little bit more labour intensive, and it's something that Hamish wanted to do, and I think it looks really good. When we go through the stages of building, we cut the site, and the site normally looks quite big. Then we put a small little floor pad down on it, and it makes the whole place look small. Then we put these walls up, and the scaffold around it looks big again. Then you get the roof on, get it closed in, and it kind of looks small again, and then you paint it all. And as you're going through, people still can't gauge the size. Then everything gets cleared out after the building's finished, and the furnishings go in, and it really takes shape. And Hamish and Anita are very happy.
Keeping in with the clean and minimal design meant that the colour choice was critical. The living, kitchen and guest rooms are all in resin wine white. This kept the light, open feel that we wanted, which really maximises the feel of space. When it came to our bedroom, we went for resin foggy grey, and I loved letting my son Hunter have a hand in the colour of his bedroom.
Picking the colour, the grey for our room,
Yeah.
I mean, because a grey on a colour chart can look so different to what it would look like in a room. And the grey in our room is perfect. It's not too dark and it's not too light.
And Hunter's wrapped with his blue.
Yeah, it's nice.
Which is really, really nice for him to have, to have chosen. I think children should be allowed to choose their room colour. The bathrooms are the other areas we're so proud of. The tiles that Anita and my mum picked for the main bathroom are incredibly exciting. Doing a random pattern tile from floor to ceiling is really pushing the boundaries. We felt confident doing it because it was in our holiday house and we don't use it every day. In the guest bathroom, Hunter's blue colours, we continued on with beautiful blue tiling there. In the kitchen, we've continued on the elegant black colour with the SMEG appliances, and what we think works really well is the pairing of modern and sleek fixings and a more rustic feel of the table, cabinetry and stovetop sink. Outside, we've made the wind turbine and solar farm from Dynamic Energy a feature of the surrounding landscape, and we're proud to make a point of showing off something that is a functional part of the batch design. Exactly the same goes for our 2 mighty water tanks. There's not much more we could ask for of this batch. Once we continue to develop the landscape and add more planting, it will be like putting the cherry on top of our very big chocolate cake.
With the batch finally at that furnished and finished stage, there's a huge sense of relief. It's finally time to celebrate with family, friends and new neighbours.
We've created something that is durable, is sound, is very, very pretty, and pretty things lead to pretty things being cared for. And so, yeah, I think we've created something that, well, Hunter loves it. For him, it's already starting. I mean, this will be his first summer of really getting what we had. So I think we've got a legacy in the making, and it'll be something that he will enjoy with his family, and other children will enjoy with their families.
When you say his children, it just sounds so far away.
Well, it is and it isn't, because time rolls by.
It's the end of a chapter for Hamish and Anita and the start of a new one. The build has taken up all of their energy and money for the better part of 4 months, and now they can finally enjoy it. It's the beginning of spring and the beginning of many unforgettable holidays to come. It started with Hamish's own childhood memories with his family on the shores of Lake Taupo. And it's now time to create some more.
Hey, 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 I'm going